Hello all viewers and a very warm welcome to the channel. We're excited to have you here today as we kickstart our current affairs part 1 for the month of June. This series has been specially curated to help you prepare smartly and effectively for your upcoming defense exams, especially DSSC. So if you're serious about cracking it, you're in the right place. We've just launched the PDF version for this series as well, and trust us, you'll want to have it by your side. With just about 2 months left for the exam, every single day counts. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we highly recommend you grab the soft copy now. Why? Because if you've used other PDFs before, take a moment to compare the pattern of our questions. They're designed to reflect the exact style and depth of what's usually asked in the DSSC exam. This isn't just revision, it's targeted practice. Also, a quick recap, dosto. May month was a crucial month for defense aspirants, with events like Operation Sindoor making headlines and many other important developments that could very well show up in your exam. So make sure you're not missing out on any of that. We've got it all covered in this series. Let's jump right into today's session. We'll be covering 9 carefully selected questions, each with accurate explanations and context that matters. Here comes question number 1, which states, Question 1. The India-UK Free Trade Agreement, FTA, finalized on 6 May 2025, aims to double bilateral trade through tariff reductions, enhanced market access, and a double contribution convention while addressing mutual sensitivities and stakeholder concerns. A. Summarize the key provisions of the FTA, including tariff reductions, services and mobility commitments, and the double contribution convention. B. Discuss the potential benefits for India across sectors and highlight the major concerns raised by stakeholders. C. Assess the strategic importance of the FTA for India's global trade goals and propose measures to address implementation challenges and stakeholder concerns. Dosto, to answer this, let's break it down in 3 parts. A. Key provisions. B. Sectoral benefits and concerns. And C. Strategic importance. Part A. Key provisions. Now, to make this easy to remember, we'll use the mnemonic T, S, D, M, M. T. Tariff reductions. First things first, tariffs. India is cutting tariffs on 90% of UK goods, and in return, the UK is offering 99% duty-free access to Indian exports. That's huge. Some big-ticket items include whiskey and gin, duty slashed from 150% to 40% over 10 years. Automobiles, tariffs coming down from 100% plus to just 10% under a quota. Also included cosmetics, biscuits, salmon. Basically, both nations get their favorites. S. Services and mobility. This part is game-changing for professionals. India secured 1,800 work visas annually for skilled workers in areas like yoga, culinary arts, music, and IT. Plus, MRAs, or mutual recognition agreements, are to be signed within 36 months. That means your qualifications here could be valid there. D. Double Contribution Convention. Say goodbye to double deductions. Indian professionals on short-term assignments in the UK won't have to pay into both countries' social security systems. That's a cost-saving win for Indian service companies. M. Market access safeguards. No quotas, no economic needs tests. Indian service providers can enter 137 service subsectors directly. That's a big move towards service sector liberalization. M. Mutual sensitivities. Both sides gave up something to make this work. India dropped its post-study visa demand, while the UK stepped back on its push to open up India's legal sector. It's a classic case of diplomatic compromise. Part B. Sectoral benefits and stakeholder concerns. Now let's look at who gains and who's worried. Benefits, mnemonic T, L, G, A, P, I, S. T. Textiles. Knitwear exports from clusters like Tirupur could rise from 9% to 20%. L. Leather and footwear. Labor-intensive and SME-heavy, This sector gets a big boost. G. Gems and jewelry. Indian designs tapping into high-end British markets. A. Auto components. Tariff quotas mean better access for Indian suppliers. P. Pharmaceuticals. Generic medicines can enter the UK more easily. I. IT, finance, edtech. With access to 137 service sectors, there's plenty of opportunity. S. Skilled workers. New work visa slots for niche Indian talent, from yoga gurus to software pros. Concerns, mnemonic, F, C, T, L. F, farmers and MSMEs. There's real anxiety that cheaper British food imports could hurt rural livelihoods. C, compliance burden. Small exporters may struggle with complex paperwork and standards. T, trade imbalance. If imports surge faster than our exports, it could widen the deficit. L, legal delays. Bureaucracy could stall key agreements like MRAs, limiting early benefits. Part, see strategic importance and way forward. Here's where we look beyond economics and into geopolitics. Strategic importance, mnemonic, G, L, B. G, global trade positioning. This deal boosts India's post-Brexit relevance in Europe. L, launchpad for more FTAs. It sets a solid precedent for upcoming deals with Canada, EU, etc. B, bilateral trust. This builds deeper India-UK cooperation across policy and business. Way forward, mnemonic, H, S, M, P. Help stakeholders manage progress. H, handholding. Set up export help desks and train MSMEs to navigate the FTA. S, safeguards. Activate protective clauses for sensitive sectors like agriculture. M, MRA fast track. Push professional bodies like AICTE and medical councils to speed up recognitions. P, public awareness. Use campaigns to spread knowledge about the FTA's real-world benefits. So that wraps up question 1, a comprehensive look at a game-changing trade deal. From tariffs to trust, and from knitwear to knowledge workers, the India-UK FTA could be a powerful tool in India's economic and strategic playbook if executed right. Now, let's move towards question number 2, which states, question 2, on 7th May 2025, India launched Operation Sindoor, targeting 9 terrorist camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, POK, in response to 22nd April 2025 Pahalgam terrorist attack, which killed 26 civilians. A. Summarize the key aspects of Operation Sindoor, including its trigger, objectives, and execution details. B. Analyze the strategic and diplomatic implications of the operation for India's counter-terrorism policy and regional security. C. Propose measures to sustain the operation's objectives and mitigate potential escalatory risks with Pakistan. Dosto, let's unfold this operation in 3 parts. A. What happened? B. What it means strategically, and C. What needs to be done going forward. Part A. Key aspects of Operation Sindoor. To remember this easily, we'll use the mnemonic T-O-E. T. Trigger. The spark behind this operation was 22nd April 2025 Pahalgam attack, carried out by the Resistance Front, TRF. This wasn't just another incident. 26 civilians, including 1 Nepali national, were killed. It was the deadliest terror strike on Indian soil since 26/11. O. Objectives. India had 3 clear goals. Dismantle the terror infrastructure across the border. Avenge the deaths of innocent civilians. And most importantly, assert India's right to self-defense under Article 51 of the UN Charter. E. Execution. This was a coordinated strike involving the Indian Air Force and elite Special Forces units. 9 terror camps were hit, 4 in mainland Pakistan and 5 in POK. These camps were operated by known terror groups, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and Hizbul Mujahideen. What stood out was the precision. India avoided civilian areas and Pakistani military assets to prevent escalation, a smart, surgical message. Part B. Strategic and diplomatic implications. Use the mnemonic DREAD because that's what India's enemies should feel now. D. Deterrence boost. This strike makes one thing clear: India will hit back. No longer will provocations go unanswered. R. Reputation strengthening. Internationally, this burnishes India's image as a nation that is firm yet responsible, not reactionary, but resolute. E. Escalation management. The operation was limited, targeted, and precise, avoiding a broader war while still sending a powerful signal. A. Alliance diplomacy. Several nations, including Western allies, showed support. Why? Because the camps targeted were linked to undesignated terror outfits, giving India moral and legal standing. D. Doctrinal shift. Operation Sindoor reinforces a growing pattern: India's preemptive doctrine, first seen after Uri in 2016 and then Balakot in 2019. India is no longer waiting to be hit, it's acting before the next tragedy strikes. Part C. Way forward: how to sustain the gains. Use the mnemonic SHIELD because every victory needs a strong shield to protect it. S. Strategic communication. India must stay ahead in the narrative war by taking evidence to the UN, FATF, and global partners. Show intent, show proof. H. Harden internal security. We need to lock things down at home. Tighter intel sharing, surveillance drones, and smart fencing in border areas. I. International pressure. Keep the heat on. Push for global action against sponsors like Sajid Mir. If diplomacy is a game of persistence, India must play to win. E. Escalation control. We've made our move. Now, through back-channel diplomacy, make sure Pakistan doesn't misread our intent and overreact. L. Legal readiness. Prepare a solid case under international law, especially under the self-defense clause in Article 51 of the UN Charter. D. Defense preparedness. Stay ready across borders, online, and in the air. Asymmetric retaliation or cyber strikes are real threats. That concludes Question 2, Operation Sindoor. A bold response that sent a strong signal not just to Pakistan, but to every actor that underestimates India's resolve. But what matters now is how India follows through with diplomacy, security, and discipline. Now moving to question number 3, which states, in 2025, India introduced stringent regulatory guidelines for satellite communication (SATCOM) companies, emphasizing local manufacturing, data localization, NAVIC compliance, and national security cooperation. A. Summarize the key provisions of the 2025 SATCOM guidelines, including local manufacturing, data localization, NAVIC compliance, and national security measures. B. Analyze the strategic significance of these regulations for India's national security and technological self-reliance. C. Propose measures to ensure effective implementation of the guidelines while addressing potential challenges faced by SATCOM operators. Let's decode what this means, not just technically, but strategically. We'll move through 3 key areas. A. What the guidelines say. B. Why they matter for India's future. And C. How we can make them work without slowing innovation. Part A. Key provisions of the 2025 SATCOM guidelines. To make this easy to retain, we use the mnemonic LDNS. Local, data, NAVIC, security. L. Local manufacturing and indigenization. Every SATCOM company must follow a 5-year phased plan. By year 5, at least 20% of ground equipment, routers, antennas, control hubs must be made in India. This boosts the Make in India vision in the high-tech space sector. D. Data localization and monitoring. No satellite user traffic can be routed through foreign gateways. All control systems, DNS, and data centers must be within India. The government will have the ability to enforce lawful interception and user tracking when needed. N. NavIC compliance. All SATCOM terminals must be compatible with NavIC, India's own version of GPS. For now, it's on a best effort basis, but full compliance is mandatory by 2029. This is a quiet but big push for indigenous navigation. S. Security mandates. SATCOM providers must be able to shut down services in emergencies when directed. Any illegal or unregistered terminals must be reported. Plus, new special monitoring zones will be created near borders and the exclusive economic zone EEZ. A separate security clearance is also needed for voice and data services. Part B. Strategic significance. The mnemonic here is S, H, I, E, L, D, a perfect fit, because this policy acts like a protective shield for India's national interest. S. Self-reliance in tech. This pushes India toward tech sovereignty, building core communication systems at home. It reduces the risk of dependency on foreign vendors, especially in critical sectors. H. Homeland security. Prevents misuse of satellite communications in conflict-prone regions or during unrest. Gives intelligence agencies better tools for monitoring, control, and quick action. I. Indigenous NavIC promotion. Strengthens India's position as a spacefaring nation. Reduces military reliance on US GPS, a huge step towards strategic autonomy. E. Economic opportunity. Big push for Indian startups and MSMEs to enter the SATCOM supply chain. Creates local jobs, boosts research and development, and builds a skilled tech workforce. L. Local data control. Keeps Indian user data within national boundaries. Helps enforce privacy rules, cybersecurity laws, and reduce exposure to global surveillance networks. D. Defense readiness. During wartime or cyber conflict, India must be able to control, restrict, or redirect satellite services. These rules give the armed forces that strategic flexibility. Part C. Measures for effective implementation. Now that the goals are set, how do we get there without tripping over red tape? Here's the mnemonic REACT, because the policy must adapt and react smartly to real-world challenges. R. Regulatory clarity. Publish detailed rule books, timelines, and sector-wise FAQs. Set up a single nodal agency to support implementation and resolve doubts, maybe under InSpace or DOT. E. Ease of compliance for startups. Let's not scare away innovation. Offer relaxed timelines, grants, or credit support for small players. Encourage local sourcing by subsidizing certified Indian vendors. A. Audit and inspection readiness. Build a network of third-party auditors to certify compliance. Digitize compliance tracking to reduce corruption and delays. C. Collaboration with industry. Involve ISRO, InSpace, and private players in co-creating solutions. Public-private partnerships can help with manufacturing, NavIC integration, and even security protocols. T. Training and talent support. We need more people trained in satellite regulations, cybersecurity, and space policy. Launch short-term courses or certificate programs, possibly under Skill India or Digital India initiatives. That's a wrap on Question 3, SATCOM Guidelines 2025. This isn't just a regulation, it's a foundational framework that connects India's tech future with its national security goals. And most importantly, it puts Indian innovation at the center of global space communication. Noe, let's move on to question number 4. Which states, the Quad countries, India, Australia, Japan, and the United States conducted a tabletop exercise in Hawaii from 28 April to 2 May 2025 to simulate the launch of the Indo-Pacific Logistics Network (IPLN), a multilateral initiative for coordinated civilian disaster response in the Indo-Pacific region. A. Summarize the key features of the IPLN, including its objectives, participating countries, and technological aspects. B. analyze the strategic and humanitarian significance of the IPLN for the Indo-Pacific region and its alignment with other Quad initiatives. C. Propose measures to enhance the IPLN's effectiveness in disaster response while addressing potential operational and geopolitical challenges. Dosto, from 28th April to 2nd May 2025, something significant unfolded in Hawaii. The Quad countries, India, Australia, Japan, and the US came together for a high-level simulation called a tabletop exercise to launch the Indo-Pacific Logistics Network IPLN. Let's break it down into three parts. A. Key features of IPLN. B. Its strategic and humanitarian value. C. Ways to improve its effectiveness and avoid friction. A. Key features of IPLN. To make this easy to remember, we'll use the mnemonic CITSF. C. Coordination of logistics. This is the core idea, a shared logistics backbone among Quad nations. It allows for rapid, well-coordinated disaster response, no more delays in moving aid, equipment, or medical teams. I. Interoperability and trust. IPLN strengthens mutual support agreements, food, fuel, transport, warehousing. It builds operational trust between the militaries and civilian agencies of all four countries. T. Technology integration. The network isn't just physical, it's smart and digital. Uses real-time tracking, digital maps, and AI-based planning tools for precise logistics coordination. S. Scope of operations. It covers the entire Indo-Pacific region, including islands, remote coasts, and conflict-sensitive areas. Whether it's a cyclone in Fiji or a pandemic in Indonesia, IPLN is ready. F. Focus on civilian response. And here's the beauty. It's not about military might. IPLN targets natural disasters, health crises, and climate events with a civilian-first approach. B. Strategic and humanitarian significance. Now, why does IPLN matter beyond logistics? The answer lies in the mnemonic RHQA. R. Regional resilience. The Indo-Pacific is climate vulnerable, from tsunamis to rising sea levels. IPLN builds resilience by ensuring that help arrives fast where it's needed most. H. Humanitarian branding of Quad. Let's be honest, Quad is often seen as a geopolitical counter to China. IPLN reframes that image. It shows Quad as a force for good, focused on saving lives, not just shaping alliances. Q. Quad synergy. It fits beautifully with other non-military Quad programs like vaccine diplomacy, One Health, and IPMDA. IPLN strengthens the civilian leg of the Quad's strategic triangle. A. Alignment with global norms. IPLN reflects values of transparency, inclusivity, and multilateralism, aligning with UN SDGs and global disaster frameworks. C. Proposed measures to enhance IPLN. Now let's talk solutions. How to make IPLN stronger, faster, and smarter. Mnemonic here, STORM, because the aim is to calm the storm before it hits. S. Standard operating procedures, SOPs. Finalize joint SOPs for major disaster types, earthquakes, floods, epidemics. Include triggers, timelines, and a clear command chain. T. Training and field exercises. Conduct biannual drills with civil military teams across Quad nations. Invite ASEAN and Indian Ocean countries as observers helps build trust and expand reach. O. Open architecture framework. IPLN should be inclusive, not exclusive. Let countries like Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and Fiji plug into the network as needed. This avoids the impression of a closed club or anti-China front. R. Resource pooling and prepositioning. Set up joint relief hubs in places like the Andamans, Darwin, Australia, and Okinawa. Pre-stock essential materials, tents, food, medical kits, so response is instant. M. Manage geopolitical optics. Keep the posture strictly humanitarian. Use diplomatic platforms to explain that IPLN is about saving lives, not projecting power. Align it with UN and ASEAN efforts to reduce friction and enhance legitimacy. So that wraps up question 4, the Indo-Pacific Logistics Network. This initiative has the potential to transform disaster response in the world's most vulnerable region, while also giving the Quad a compassionate, constructive face. Now, moving on to question number 5, which states, on 7th May 2025, India launched Operation Sindoor, a precision strike operation targeting 21 terror camps across 9 locations in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, POK, in retaliation for 22nd April 2025 Pahalgam terror attack. A. Summarize the key features of the precision-guided missiles used in Operation Sindoor, including SCALP, Hammer, BrahMos, and Loitering munitions. B. Analyze the strategic significance of employing these advanced weapons in the operation for India's counter-terrorism strategy and regional deterrence. C. Propose measures to further enhance India's precision strike capabilities while addressing potential operational and geopolitical challenges. Dosto, on 7th May 2025, the Indian Armed Forces launched a high-stakes operation, one that echoed across international headlines. Operation Sindoor was not just a military response, it was a technological showcase. India struck 21 terror camps across Pakistan and POK, using a lethal mix of precision-guided weapons. Let's explore how these missiles made the mission razor-sharp and what it means for India's counter-terror doctrine. We'll break this into 3 parts. A. Key features of the missile systems. B. Their strategic value. C. What more can India do to stay ahead in this game? A. Key features of India's precision weapons. Mnemonic, SHPL. Let's decode each weapon used. S. SCALP, Storm Shadow, the Deep Stealth Striker. Origin, France, MBDA. Range, ~450 km. Used by Rafale jets, SCALP is a deep-penetration cruise missile. It hugs terrain, dodges radars, and strikes with infrared-guided precision, perfect for high-value bunkers. H. Hammer, the Tactical Precision Bomb. Origin, France, Safran. Range, ~70 km. Hammer is a modular glide bomb with multi-guidance systems, GPS, laser, infrared. It's ideal for fortified but small targets like hideouts or weapons depots. B. BrahMos, India's supersonic game-changer. Origin, India-Russia joint venture. Speed, Mach 2.8, 3 vertical bar range, 450 to 500 km. With pinpoint accuracy and blazing speed, BrahMos is a deterrence weapon. In Operation Sindoor, it ensured rapid, shock strike capability against deep terror hubs. L. Loitering munitions, eyes and precision on target. These are kamikaze drones. They fly, hover, and dive into the target. Ideal for time-sensitive, mobile terror assets. They combine ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and precision kill all in one. B. Strategic significance. These weren't just military tools, they were message weapons. The real story lies in the mnemonic STAR. S. Surgical credibility. Operation Sindoor showed India now possesses the ability to hit terror infrastructure precisely, at range, and without collateral damage. It builds a global image of responsible retaliation. T. Technological dominance. These weapons demonstrate India's growing mastery of hybrid warfare, integrating drones, jets, satellites, and AI. The use of multiple platforms in sync was a textbook modern strike. A. Asymmetric deterrence. By striking across 9 locations without provoking full war, India signaled its doctrinal confidence. It puts Pakistan-based terror networks on notice without allowing escalation to spiral. R. Regional signaling. It sends a message to hostile neighbors and allies alike. India will strike first, strike smart, and strike clean. C. measures to enhance future precision strikes. Let's now talk strategy. How can India go from strong to unstoppable in this space? Mnemonic TCHNIQ. T. Training and joint drills. Conduct multi-force precision drills annually, like red flag exercises. Simulate urban, border, and high-altitude strikes using PGMs. E. Expand indigenous missile exports. Fast-track exports of BrahMos to ASEAN allies like Vietnam and the Philippines. Build a strategic missile export economy that funds more R&D. C. Civil-military tech collaboration. Bring in startups and private players for innovation in drone swarms, AI-guided targeting. Platforms like IDEX must scale faster to fill gaps in guidance and propulsion tech. H. Hardened ISR infrastructure. Build a robust satellite, drone, SIGINT ecosystem. Real-time data improves target selection and post-strike assessment. N. Navigation sovereignty. Integrate Navicii into all platforms to reduce reliance on US GPS and block jamming spoofing. I. Indigenize critical components. Prioritize homegrown warhead seekers, chips, and fuel modules. Minimize foreign dependency in the event of sanctions or export blocks. Q. Quantum secure command systems. Invest in quantum encryption for command and control channels, vital for cyber-resilient warfare. So to wrap up question 5. Dosto, Operation Sindoor was not just retaliation, it was redefinition. India showed it can combine restraint and resolve with cutting-edge precision. Now, moving ahead, let's talk about question number 6, which states India's successful interception of a coordinated drone and missile attack under Operation Sindoor highlights the growing importance of an integrated air defense architecture. Critically evaluate the components and capabilities of India's multi-layered air defense system. How do recent developments in aerial threats, such as drones and swarm attacks, influence future air defense preparedness and strategy? Dosto, on 7th May 2025, while Indian jets were striking terror camps under Operation Sindoor, something equally crucial was happening behind the scenes. India successfully intercepted a coordinated missile and drone attack from across the border. This wasn't luck. It was the result of years of building a multi-layered air defense system, a silent shield that saved lives and shaped military history. Let's break this down with 1. The structure of India's air defense. 2. How it tackled modern threats like swarms and drones. 3. What India needs next to stay ahead. 1. India's air defense system. What makes it work? Mnemonic RAID. Because every air threat demands a counter-raid. R. Radars. Surveillance. These are India's early eyes, detecting everything from stealth aircraft to mini drones. Long-range phased array radars like Rohini, Swordfish, and imported platforms help scan both high and low airspace. A. Action centers, command and control. AI-enhanced command centers rapidly assess threats, classify them, and assign intercept missions. Operated jointly by IAF, Army Air Defense, and Navy for unified response. I. Interceptors, SAM's guns. Based on range type, threats are taken down by surface-to-air missiles, SAMs, or anti-aircraft guns. Think S-400s for far targets, Akash for near strikes, and even laser jammers for drones. D. Disruptors, EW systems. India now has electronic warfare tools to jam drone signals or spoof them mid-air. These acted as digital bouncers during the drone wave in Operation Sindoor. 2. India's key air defense platforms. Mnemonic SBAPI. S. S-400 Triumph from Russia. India's long arm in air defense, up to 400 kilometers range, used to detect and kill enemy aircraft and ballistic missiles far before they enter Indian airspace. B. Barak 8, India-Israel. Versatile medium-range surface-to-air missile, MRSAM. Defended strategic sites and troops against cruise missiles and advanced drones. A. Akash, indigenous. DRDO's pride. Short range, quick launch system. Took down low-flying drones and enemy aircraft in fast response zones. P. Pechora S-125, legacy. Though older, it was digitally upgraded and still forms part of layered protection. I. Integrated Counter-UAS grid. This is the newest addition. Think anti-drone radar, soft kill jammers, and kinetic guns, all working together, played a crucial role in neutralizing swarms during the May 2025 attack. 3. Evolving threats. The rise of drones and swarms. Mnemonic DSWARM. Because today's threats move in swarms. D. Drones. They're cheap, stealthy, and deadly. Traditional radars struggle to detect them, forcing India to innovate. S. Swarm attacks. Dozens of autonomous drones flying at once, like a digital locust attack. India needs AI-based systems that can track and prioritize threats instantly. W. Wide-range surveillance. We now need sensors that can detect low, slow, small flying objects, not just jets. A. Autonomous targeting. The old days of manual targeting are over. AI-based kill chains ensure response time is measured in seconds, not minutes. R. Rapid reaction systems. Future air defense units must be mobile, modular, and ready on wheels. M. Multi-layer integration. No one-size-fits-all. Coordination between long, mid, and short-range systems is the only way to beat diverse aerial threats. Dosto, in conclusion, Operation Sindoor was a win not just in offense, but also in defense. India's air defense matrix stood firm against missiles, drones, and swarms, proving that technology plus teamwork is equal to total protection. But the sky is getting crowded. The enemy is evolving, and so must our shield. Moving next to question number 7, which states, loitering munitions like the Israeli HAROP have emerged as key tools in modern asymmetric warfare. Analyze the operational advantages and strategic role of HAROP drones in India's evolving airstrike capabilities. How do such platforms enhance precision targeting and deterrence in contested airspaces, especially under missions like Operation Sindoor? Dosto, today, we dive into one of the most lethal tools in India's modern arsenal, the HAROP loitering munition. Used with deadly precision in Operation Sindoor, India's retaliatory strike on terror camps and enemy air defenses. Let's break it down. 1. What makes HAROP operationally deadly? 2. Its strategic role in modern warfare. 3. How it crushed targets in Operation Sindoor. 4. And why loitering drones are redefining air dominance and deterrence. 1. What is HAROP? A suicide drone. A flying fire-and-forget hunter. Designed by Israel Aerospace Industries, IAI, and adopted by India for precision strikes with minimal footprint. Mnemonic SLAM, because these drones slam down silently and surgically. S. Search and destroy autonomy. HAROP finds and destroys enemy radars or vehicles without needing preset coordinates. Built-in EO/IR cameras enable onboard target identification. L. Long endurance. With a 9-hour loiter time, HAROP can circle silently over battlefields, waiting for high-value targets to surface. A. Anti-jamming capability. Can operate in GPS-denied zones, essential in contested airspaces where electronic warfare is rampant. M. Multi-platform launch. It's not tied to a runway. HAROP can launch from ground vehicles, ships, or trailers, offering flexibility and mobility. 2. Strategic role in India's airstrike doctrine. Mnemonic TARGET. T. Tactical edge. HAROP sneaks through radar gaps and hits deep inside enemy zones, beyond manned aircraft range. A. Asymmetric advantage. India neutralized key assets without risking pilot lives. A smart tool in grey zone warfare. R. Real-time ISR. HAROP sees what it strikes. Visual sensors allow target confirmation before impact, keeping civilian casualties low. G. Game changer in SEAD. SEAD is equal to suppression of enemy air defenses. HAROP is ideal for radar hunting, crucial in Operation Sindoor's Lahore strike. E. Economical precision. Much cheaper than cruise missiles like SCALP or BrahMos. Perfect for hitting non-hardened but high-value targets. T. Threat deterrence. Enemy operators now think twice. Any radar could become a bullseye. HAROP builds psychological deterrence. 3. Role in Operation Sindoor. Mnemonic KILL. K. Kamikaze strike on air defense. Confirmed kill on Pakistani radar near Lahore, blinding their early warning system in seconds. I. Instant action. HAROP drones launched within hours of the Pahalgam terror attack, no complex logistics required. L. Low collateral impact. Urban targets? No problem. EO-guided strike ensured zero civilian casualties in contested zones. L. Layer breaker. HAROP drones pierced through multi-tier air defenses, exposing deeper enemy assets for follow-up BrahMos strikes. 4. Why HAROP elevates deterrence in contested skies. Mnemonic STEALTH. S. Stealthy profile. Minimal radar cross-section. Almost impossible to detect until it's too late. T. Target flexibility. Can retarget mid-flight. Imagine loitering until a VIP convoy appears, then striking with precision. E. Escalation control. Avoids massive overkill. Allows surgical retaliation in response to terror attacks or border violations. A. Adaptive strike tool. Effective in conventional battles, counterinsurgency, or hybrid war from LSE to urban conflict. L. Low risk to personnel. No pilot. No recovery needed. Even if lost, it's far cheaper than losing a fighter jet. T. Technological superiority. Proves India has next-gen combat tools, a strong message to adversaries. H. High precision. EO sensors ensure pinpoint accuracy, minimizing diplomatic blowback and media scrutiny. Dosto, the future of air warfare isn't just supersonic. It's smart, silent, and self-guided. HAROP drones offer India stealth without escalation, precision without pilots, deterrence without destruction. As battlefield tech evolves, loitering munitions will play an even bigger role, especially in cross-border retaliation, SEAD missions, and urban anti-terror OPS. India's growing drone arsenal isn't just about fighting smarter. It's about changing the rules of engagement altogether. Let's move to question number 8, which states, India's evolving strategic landscape demands a robust integration of advanced defense technologies. Critically assess the role of platforms like the BrahMos missile and S-400 Triumph system in enhancing India's deterrence and warfighting capabilities. In this context, distinguish between kinetic and non-kinetic warfare and analyze India's preparedness in both domains. Dosto, India's enemies see the BrahMos. They fear the S-400. But the real war? It's also being fought in cyberspace, satellites, and the news feed on your phone. Let's decode the PROWESS of India's evolving strategic platforms and the dual battlefield of modern warfare, kinetic versus non-kinetic. 1. BrahMos and S-400, power platforms of Indian deterrence. Mnemonic, PROWESS. P. Precision strike. BrahMos hits with surgical accuracy at Mach 3+, ensuring pinpoint neutralization of enemy bunkers, ships, and missile batteries. R. Range and reach. BrahMos being extended to 800 km plus range. S-400 defends airspace up to 400 kilometers deep, covering almost entire theaters of operation. O. Operational flexibility. BrahMos is multi-platform, air-launched from rafales, ship-launched, land-mobile, and submarine-capable. S-400 engages threats from low-flying drones to high-altitude bombers. W. Warfighting edge. S-400 can track 300 aerial targets, and engage 36 simultaneously, a force multiplier against saturation attacks. E. Enhanced deterrence. During Operation Sindoor, these platforms showed India's capacity to strike and shield simultaneously, a clear signal to adversaries. S. Strategic autonomy. BrahMos is Indo-Russian, with growing indigenous upgrades. S-400 signals India's independent foreign policy, acquired despite US CAATSA pressures. S. Swiftness in response. S-400 radar grid plus BrahMos strike speed is equal to real-time kill chain, perfect for dealing with cross-border missile and drone threats. 2. Kinetic versus non-kinetic warfare. What's the difference? Mnemonic KNOW. K. Kinetic warfare. Traditional hard power, airstrikes, missiles, tanks, and artillery. Example: India's Balakot strike, Operation Sindoor, boots on ground plus missiles in air. N. Non-kinetic warfare. Invisible battlefields. Cyber, propaganda, psychological, and economic caution. Example: disinformation during Pulwama, cyber attacks on military networks, sanctions, trade bans. O. Overlapping tactics. Modern warfare isn't either or. India's response to terror involves airstrikes, kinetic, plus diplomatic media blitz, non-kinetic. W. Weaponization of information. Enemy doesn't need to bomb cities. They can spread fake news, hack banks, or sway youth on social media. India must defend both its borders and its bandwidth. 3. Is India ready for both domains of war? Let us understand it with mnemonic RCES. R. Robust platforms. India has BrahMos, S-400 Rafales, Apaches, and growing drone forces for hard-hitting strikes. A. Advanced systems. Indigenous platforms like Divya Drishti, electronic intelligence, and Sanyukt, tactical EW system, show progress in info warfare readiness. C. Cyber readiness. India's Cyber Command, CERTAN, and NCCC, National Cyber Coordination Center, monitor threats. However, limited offensive cyber capabilities, a gap that needs urgent investment. E. Electronic warfare. Indian forces are integrating EW units for radar jamming, spoofing, and surveillance, vital versus drones, enemy comms, and missiles. S. Strategic alliances. From COMCASA with the US to tech transfers from France and Israel, India's defense diplomacy is securing both weapons and warfare algorithms. Dosto, modern conflict isn't just a bullet versus a bomb. It's BrahMos versus bandwidth. It's firepower plus firewall. BrahMos and S-400 project visible deterrence, ready to strike, shield, and dominate. But India must equally invest in invisible warfare, digital defense, cyber resilience, and info operations. Now, here comes the final question of this video. That is question number 9, which states, Operation Sindoor reflects a significant doctrinal transformation in India's approach to national security. Discuss the core shifts in India's military strategy post-Galwan and Pulwama Balakot. Evaluate the implications of this evolving doctrine for regional stability, civil-military synergy, and deterrence posture in the context of nuclear asymmetry. Let's talk about Part 1. India's new military strategy. Mnemonic STRIK. Let's break down India's new warfighting doctrine using strike. S. Standard strikes. India no longer waits for the enemy to come close. Now we hit hard, from afar, using smart missiles and drones like SCALP, BrahMos, and HAROP. T. Tech-enabled warfare. From cyber attacks to satellite eyes in the sky, tech is now at the core of our defense. Drones plus AI is equal to smart and swift combat. R. Real-time retaliation. No more delay. If there's an attack like Pulwama or Galwan, India hits back immediately without waiting for international approval. I. Integrated operations. Army, Navy, Air Force plus intelligence agencies is equal to one coordinated team. That's what we saw in Operation Sindoor. K. Kill chain modernization. Smart bombs plus real-time intel is equal to deadly precision. No more carpet bombing. Now we target exact buildings, vehicles, or terrorists. E. Escalation control. Strike enough to punish, but not enough to start a full-blown war. It's about balance, bold but calculated. Part 2. What this means for regional stability. Mnemonic, RIPPLE. R. Red line reinforced. India now says, cross the line, and we hit back hard. It's not just words anymore. I. Increased volatility. Strikes can raise miscalculation risk, especially with nuclear-armed neighbors. But India seems ready to manage that risk. P. Pakistan's denial diminished. India's deep strikes prove that terrorists don't hide behind borders anymore. Pakistan's old excuse, "We didn't know," doesn't work now. P. Power projection. India is saying, we'll act on our own terms. No need to wait for global approval. L. Localized deterrence. By keeping strikes targeted, India avoids full wars but sends a clear message. You mess with us, you'll pay. E. External reactions. World powers may support India's right to self-defense, but they're nervous about escalation. India has to walk that tightrope smartly. Part 3. Civil-military synergy. Why this matters now. Mnemonic, UNITE. U. Unified thinking. Today, the government and military speak with one voice. That builds clarity and confidence. N. National will. Leaders now back military operations publicly. It boosts soldier morale and shows national resolve. I. Institutional coordination. Operations like Sindoor showed tight coordination between intelligence, defense, and foreign policy teams. T. Tech-civil fusion. Startups, ISRO, DRDO, all are helping develop drone swarms, AI tracking, and smart missiles. E. Execution freedom. The military now gets more freedom to act without being micromanaged, but within clear strategic goals. Part 4. Deterrence in a nuclear world. Mnemonic, DARE. D. Decisive deterrence. India shows it can hit back, even if Pakistan flashes the nuclear card. That changes the game. A. Assertive posture. India's not just reacting anymore, it's acting first, on its terms. R. Rational escalation. Strikes are smart, not reckless, strong enough to deter, but not enough to start a nuclear crisis. E. Enhanced credibility. After Balakot, Galwan, and now Sindoor, India's words carry real weight. Enemies know India isn't bluffing anymore. Dosto, India's new doctrine says, we see you, we'll hit you, but we won't let it go too far. It's smart power plus hard power. It's about precision, not provocation. It's deterrence without desperation. Here, we come to an end of this part. Dosto, a big thank you to each and every one of you for watching. Don't forget to grab the soft copy of the current affairs. It'll make your preparation easier and more focused. If you found this content helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. It really motivates us to bring more value-packed content your way. Stay tuned for the next part, coming very soon. Until then, Jai Hind. Keep studying. Keep rising.